This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. Hi, I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. And during the next 2 hours, we're going to talk about a wide variety of topics that touch each and every one of us. In fact, we're going to start our show in just a couple of moments talking with Richard Gordon from Quantum Touch 2.0, the new human. That'll happen in just a moment or two. During hour two, we're going to talk about acupuncture and how acupuncture can help people with autism. We've got lots of other things to talk about, including stress, and of course, Robert Clancy will be joining us as well. I'm making you laugh.
I can't say why.
Okay. I must have said something pretty funny. Or you thought of something pretty funny.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Here we go. Let's go to Santa Monica, California, where we're going to spend some time with Richard Gordon. Richard, welcome to Late Night Health. What is Quantum Touch 2.0?
Mark, it's really a pleasure to be here. Quantum Touch 2.0 is the natural evolution of quantum touch. Quantum touch itself is a method of hands-on healing that allows ordinary people to almost immediately do extraordinary things to accelerate the healing process. Quantum Touch 2.0 is what came after about 15 or 18 years of having learned the system, where I discovered I could work 2 or 3 times faster without even touching people.
So you could actually heal me over the phone?
Well, distance plays no role whatsoever. But the idea of somebody healing somebody else is actually not quite accurate.
Okay.
What happens is, when you cut your finger, your body and spiritual intelligence know how to heal that cut.
Right.
Now, all that anybody else can do is provide energy, information to allow your body to accelerate its own healing process. So we like to say a great healer is someone who is very sick and got well quickly. Because it looks like you're doing a healing on somebody else. Sure, you put your hands over where the migraine is and the migraine disappears. You have a child born with plates that don't line up on its head, and moments later, the plates line up. We see it working on infants and animals and people under general anesthesia, plants, fluids, even minerals. But we don't heal anybody else. We learn how to raise our own energy level through breathing and body awareness exercises. We've got no special symbols or woo-woo. We don't have any special attunements or anything like this. This is just something we can access within ourselves very quickly and very easily.
But how does a baby, say a newborn who has, whose head is scrunched up after birth, how do they know what to do?
It isn't an intellectual process. We see this working on infants for a wide range of conditions. I mean, my friend adopted a baby that had severe fetal alcohol syndrome, addicted to amphetamines with a prognosis of a 20 to 40 IQ. And by the time the child was 2, he was average height and weight. By the time he was 4, he was above average, the center of love and affection. And that child even learned to see energy himself. We don't understand our own physiology. We don't know how a brain works. Nobody understands this stuff. There's thousands of chemical changes taking place in every cell every second.
Right.
We can't keep track of any of that. But what we do understand is there's this energy field that we can access. We can tune into it. And it's there naturally inside everybody. But because we've grown up in such a materialistic culture that refuses to even examine or look at the possibility of these things, they just close their eyes to it and run away, saying, well, we can't measure it, can't weigh it, can't put it in a mathematical formula, therefore it doesn't exist. And that's just silly.
I remember The Secret. You've seen it. I know you have.
Certainly.
And there are at least 2 quantum physicists in there who say there are things they just can't explain. There is no mathematical equation. There's a thing where they shoot some kind of rays, and if they think about it for a few minutes before they shoot the rays at the target and say it's going to go to the left, it goes to the left. If they think it'll go to the right, it goes to the right. They can't explain it.
Well, yeah, there's the double slit experiment and quantum entanglement, which are the great mysteries. And both of them are showing themselves to be subject to consciousness. But that's a topic for a longer conversation, which I'd love to get into.
No, we'll do that. But is that similar? Is that the same energy that you're talking about?
Okay. Dean Radin, the head scientist for noetic science, has had people meditate on the double slit experiment. Until now, it's been thought that they say, light, electrons or photons are either a particle or a wave. And what that means is if you put it through one slit, it looks like a particle going through a doorway. But if you go like a bullet going through a narrow opening. But if you have multiple slits, like two slits, then you see a wave pattern. And as soon as they try to put a detector up, which would measure the photon actually going through the slit, what they see is it goes back to a particle again, and it's almost like it doesn't want to be observed. So Dean Radin said, is it the process of measurement, or is it the consciousness that's doing it? So he actually set up an experiment where meditators were meditating on the double slit experiment. And when they put their consciousness on the point where the photon was going through, it actually collapsed it from being a wave into a particle again, just like as if they'd put a camera there. And the more deeply in this meditation they were, based on EEG, the more effective they were at collapsing the wave into a particle.
Would you qualify or quantify Quantum Touch 2.0 as mind, body, spirit?
Of course. I'd say, it truly is a nice intersection between mind, body, spirit. What we do is we first have people learning how to raise their energy higher and higher through breathing and body awareness. And in doing so, they hold a high vibration. And then when you're in the field of another person, you put your hands on their belly, their head, wherever it is they're suffering. You sandwich that part and keep the breathing going. And then the other person matches energetically your vibration that you're holding out. You never come down to meet them. You don't get drained. They come up to match you energetically. Then, when they're ready, after they've learned the basics of quantum touch, we move into the Quantum Touch 2.0, where we continue doing the same breathing and body awareness, but now we also tap into the heart chakra and to the compassion, love, and you project that. And so when I gave a keynote address at the University of Hong Kong, and I was recently in Macau also and Tokyo, what I did was untwist the pelvic and occipital torsion of a whole stage full of people simultaneously. Now, this is something chiropractors do. They put one person on a table, drape the knee over the side, twist the person, and crunch them. Well, without crunching anybody, and in a matter of seconds, they can all be untwisted for the rest of their life.
I'm going to have you untwist me in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that on video when I see you.
All right, we'll do that. Our guest, hold on, is Richard Gordon, the author of Quantum Touch 2.0, The New Human. And I understand quantum touch. What do you mean, the new human?
Well, what I mean by that is when you discover that there's a wide range of new human abilities that you hadn't taken into account, then that's it. We are doing things that traditional reality says just are not possible, and they're common, and you can do them all the time. Like for example, untwisting somebody would be something that you could show visually to someone, but that's the least interesting thing to most people. But it's in some ways the most interesting thing to me, because sometimes you show something that doesn't have a lot of consequence to prove something that changes everything. So, for example, Galileo saw phases of Venus, like phases of the moon.
Right.
And it proved that the Earth was going around the sun. And in Einstein's case, they searched to find a solar eclipse so they could see if the gravity of the sun was bending the position of stars. Well, nobody cares about whether stars are a quarter of a degree offline, but what I'm doing is I'm actually showing through this untwisting that consciousness affects matter, that love is actually a real force, that the whole materialistic view of science is incomplete. And we've seen these techniques work. I've interviewed some of my instructors recently, work on Alzheimer's, addiction, trauma, different kinds of ADD, Parkinson's.
Let's talk about a
bipolar.
couple of these things. You mentioned Galileo. Galileo, when he said that he was also one of the first to say that the Earth moved around the sun did not.
That was the point,
right? And when he did that, the church kind of kept him in a tower for the rest of his life.
He was under house arrest.
He was, and he was, a new thought, if you will. So my question is, this is brand new stuff, or is it new stuff?
Well, yes and no. It is new in the sense that, I often say I don't know if I've discovered something or found something that was lost or forgotten. I really don't know for sure where it came from. But the tradition of where my stuff came from, there was this old man named Robert Rasmussen who figured out how to use breathing and body awareness to focus life force energy, the prana, the chi, the ki. And
we're going to take a time out, Richard, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion because this is fascinating. It really is. Quantum Touch 2.0, the new human, here on Late Night Health. Hey, join us at latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com. You can also tune in to us on iTunes. Richard and I will return just a couple of moments as Late Night Health continues.